Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amy and I'm part of the education team here at ChildNet, part of the UK Safer Internet Centre.
And my name is Phoebe. I'm also part of the team here at ChildNet, and we're so pleased to have some time today to tell you a bit more about the upcoming Safer Internet Day celebrations, including all of the resources available to help you run activities in your school or youth group setting.
So before we get started, we want to let you know that the Q&A feature is open and we'll be leaving some time at the end of today's 30 to 40-minute session to answer any questions you may have. So please do click on Q&A. It might be visible at the top or the bottom of your screen, and submit any questions to us there. Now, in mine and Phoebe's work with the ChildNet education team, a big part of our job is travelling to schools around the country, talking to children aged 3 to 18 years old, parents, carers and professionals about online safety. Everyone in the team here also comes from an education background, so we know firsthand how valuable your time is and how many plates you've got to keep spinning. Our aim today is to tell you everything you need to know about the upcoming Safer Internet Day campaign, and most importantly, signpost you to the various resources available completely for free. Now, Safer Internet Day is a global campaign celebrated in over 100 different countries every year. It normally falls on a Tuesday in early February, and this year, Safer Internet Day will be celebrated on Tuesday, the 6th of February, 2024. In the UK, the day is coordinated by the UK Safer Internet Centre. That is a partnership between the three organisations you can currently see on the screen: ChildNet, the IWF and SWGFL. It's worth checking out each of these organisations individually, as there's loads of resources and support available for you in your role.
So for Safer Internet Day, we want to inspire a national conversation about using technology responsibly, respectfully, critically and creatively, empowering children and young people to speak up about their digital lives and adults to engage and listen to develop a deeper understanding of their experiences. Last year, the campaign reached over half of children and young people in the country and a third of UK parents and carers. And this was only possible thanks to the incredible support from schools, youth groups, libraries, police forces, charities, government and the internet industry.
So why should you and your pupils or learners participate in Safer Internet Day? Well, every year we run a survey after the day to gauge the impact the campaign can have. Last year, 69% of the young people we spoke to said they felt more confident about what to do if something is worrying them online. And furthermore, 66% told us they had spoken to someone about staying safe online after hearing about the day. We also spoke to parents and carers themselves about their experiences of the day. 70% of them told us they had talked to their child about using the internet safely, and 68% said they felt more confident about what to do with a problem they had online.
And 1 in 4 said that their child spoke to them specifically about something that had been worrying them online. So when you combine that with teachers in school who participated in the day, where 46% of those we spoke to said the conversation started by the campaign led to disclosures about potential safeguarding issues online, well, that's a lot of young people getting support and advice who otherwise might have been facing that problem on their own. We know that participating in Safer Internet Day, raising the profile of online safety and starting those conversations about life online can have a very real and very important impact for the children and young people that you work with.
But I'm sure you are all very familiar with the importance of online safety. The internet and technology is a huge part of all of our lives, including children and young people. And whilst we know that can bring opportunities, excitement, and so many other positives, there are always going to be risks. As professionals, we all have that duty of care to safeguard the young people we work with, and I'm sure you'll agree that online safety is a vital part of this.
We also know lots of you are already doing amazing work in this space, whether you're delivering messages during computing lessons, assemblies, RSE, or have a really comprehensive whole school approach. We feel confident that Safer Internet Day has a role to play. We see it as being a great opportunity to really engage young people with the topic of online safety, to keep it at the forefront of everyone's minds. It's a chance to celebrate technology and the opportunities that it can offer, whilst also starting important conversations about young people's online experiences.
I will also just say it is also really good fun, and participating means joining in with thousands of other schools and settings all across the country. Plus, whatever your role is, we have loads of resources to help you get involved, whether you have 5 minutes, an hour, or want to dedicate a whole week to the celebrations.
So every year in the UK, we choose a different theme for Safer Internet Day, and previous years have included important topics such as reliability online, consent, online identity, and last year we focused on having conversations about life online. This year, after consulting children and young people, hearing about what they are seeing and experiencing, this year's Safer Internet Day will be focusing on change online. This includes covering young people's perspectives on new and emerging technology, using the internet to make a change for the better, the changes young people want to see online, and the things that can influence and change the way young people think, feel, and act, both online and offline. When running sessions with educators, parents, and carers, we often hear the sentence, "Everything online is changing so quickly. I just don't know how to keep up." This Safer Internet Day, we want to help give these audiences the skills they need to navigate the online world safely, no matter what technology, platforms, apps, or games they come across. We want to share online safety messages, advice, and techniques that young people and those that support them can use to make the most of their time online in a safe, enjoyable, and supportive way. We also want to give them the skills they need to make change online, as well as ways to navigate these changes that may be happening all around them. So hopefully we've sold you on the theme. Now we're going to spend a bit of time exploring the resources available to support you in engaging with Safer Internet Day 24.
So let's start with the downloadable activity packs. You can find all of the resources that we're going to talk about today for free on the Safer Internet Centre website. The page looks just like what you can see on the screen, and we've also put the URL on the bottom there as well. You can find the resources by clicking on that tab that's highlighted there, labelled Education Resources. Now, as in previous years, we have produced these resources for use with children and young people aged 3 to 7, 7 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years old. And all of the resources are available in English, Welsh, and hopefully very soon, Irish. Within those packs, you'll find a bank of activities to start conversations about life online with a focus on change and influence. Okay, I think we might be ready to take a look at the resources. We're going to go through pack by pack, but I would really recommend sticking around and listening to the full session. All of the activities are designed to be adaptable, so even those packs designed for older or younger children than the learners you specifically work with might still have something you want to try out. We won't be showcasing everything, we will just be highlighting some of our favourites. So each of the packs starts with a little bit of an overview of the theme, and we've got 5 things you need to know about participating in Safer Internet Day included in there as well. This is where you'll find some really important guidance, including advice about establishing a safe and supportive learning environment. There's a URL in that section that you can click through to, and another where we have advice for responding to safeguarding concerns or potential disclosures. Naturally, your school or your setting's safeguarding procedures and policies always need to be your first port of call here, but there is lots of advice and support available should you need it. Now, all of these opening pages, they can be found in whichever age pack you download. If we move across, so on the screen, we can see an example of one of our activities. At the top of each activity, you will find an approximate running length, the age range that it's specifically aimed for, learning objectives, and an overview of the activity along with the full activity instructions. Some of the activities do also have supporting slides that will be provided when you download those packs. So let's start ourselves off with the 3 to 7s pack. And as it's been so successful in previous years, we have included a story again this year as a key part of this pack. This year it is Mo and Jazz's story, and there are two versions, one of which has been adapted specifically for learners with additional support needs. The focus of both stories is on how technology and the internet can change people's feelings. So they have this really lovely digital well-being angle, but also use scenarios inspired by our own interactions with children and young people that we know are really, really relevant. In one story, we have a trade on a game which goes wrong and leaves Mo and Jazz feeling very disappointed after they lose a valuable item in their game. And in the other story, they see something scary and unexpected in a video they're watching. Of course, the key message for the young people across both these stories is that if something changes when they're using technology, or if their mood changes and they feel worried or upset, they should tell a trusted adult straight away. To build on the story, there is also a worksheet the children can use, and a further activity in the pack looks at the game Mo and Jazz play in the story, so you can get children exploring the different changes that are going on there. The theme of change and how devices can influence our feelings is one that is continued throughout the pack for 3 to 7s. And on these slides, you can see we have some emotion cards that pair with some really lovely slides where children think about how different changes on their device might make them feel, whether that's the battery running low, getting a new message in a game, or just running out of lives. And obviously you can pick and choose from these examples or even create your own to best suit the young people that you are working with. Another really important theme that you will see across all of the packs is how technology has changed over time. And on the other side of this slide, I've just put a little example of some of the images we've provided to help explore this topic at this age. There are lots of others in the pack around gaming and things like that. But what we're especially excited about is how this can be developed further. So perhaps with some role play opportunities, bringing in any old devices you might have at home, or that you might have on hand for the children to kind of physically explore and talk about the changes that they can observe. One thing I will also flag at this point is that all of the kind of designed worksheets and resources which you might want to print, they are really nicely brightly coloured. But if you do scroll through to the end of the documents when you download them, you can also find them in black and white too. So for the 7 to 11s, we have a different activity to explore changes to technology through time. This one digs a little bit deeper and gets learners to consider different categories of technology. So for example, technology used for gaming, technology used in a classroom or an educational environment. And the activity also has a really lovely creative element. So we want to get learners to think about what that technology could look like in 20 years' time, and specifically what safety tools might be needed for users of the futuristic devices that they have come up with. This ties in really nicely with another activity in the pack, which you can also see a kind of little snippet on the screen thereof, and that is an age-appropriate exploration of AI. In the focus groups that we did running up to writing these resources and designing these resources, this was something that the children talked about as being quite creepy, but also they found AI really, really interesting. So we thought this was a really nice opportunity to do a bit of myth busting and help get them kind of to grips with the different things that AI can actually do. This pack also invites learners to think more deeply about how technology can influence them, not just in terms of their feelings, but perhaps their actions as well. So we have an activity that explores persuasive design and how features of the apps and devices we use might have been created to shape our behaviour. Features like autoplay, pop-ups, push notifications that are designed to kind of draw us in or keep our attention. This is again something that when we've talked about it with young people, they found really fascinating, and it has that nice added benefit of making them a little bit more aware of those features and the impact they might be having on them on a day-to-day basis. We also have some scenarios, again, inspired by our interactions with young people and what we know they're seeing online. You can see one on the screen now about a video challenge, and learners are invited to consider if this might influence young people positively or negatively. I'm going to hand over at this point to Phoebe, who is going to take you through the resources for 11 to 14s and 14 to 18s.
Great, thanks, Amy. So let's move on to the 11 to 14s. And we can see the same themes being built upon here. Our activity about tech through time considers advances in tech from the last decade, Contactless payments, cryptocurrency, and Face ID are all mentioned amongst many others. And young people can add their own suggestions and ideas to this as well. And the idea is that they rank all of these, and they can rank them on different bases, but one of them might be things like from those that they think have the most positive impact or influence down to those that they think have the most kind of negative impact potentially. We also really delve into the world of online influence, thinking about the different techniques which content creators might use to try and change our thoughts or beliefs. Drawing out ideas about emotive language, the use of facts and figures versus the use of opinions. There's also an opportunity to think about algorithms and how these influence the content that we see on social media and video sharing platforms. The activity design for young people who need additional support and learning needs also uses examples from platforms like social media and focuses on how the different things that we see online can change our mood or feelings, sometimes several times a day in just one day. It looks at example devices and content from different characters at different times in the day, so learners can start to interpret what impact that content might have on someone seeing it. There's also lots of opportunities to build in further relevant key safety messages, which are most appropriate to learners you're working with. We also know that learners at this age can sometimes be more reluctant to share their own personal perspectives or opinions, especially in group settings. So we have an activity on the left which provides statements for learners to decide whether they agree or disagree. This could be run in pairs or maybe with a much larger group or even a class. We also have more independent activities. I really like this one on the right-hand side, which encourages learners to think about different online factors and sort them based on whether it's something that they can control or not. It's a really helpful exercise to reflect on digital well-being and online worries. And finally, that brings us to the 14 to 18-year-olds, an age range that we really wanted to push to think deeply about this theme of change. We have an activity about the ethics of different uses of AI, which I love because it's really adaptable. There's 4 in-depth case studies which can be allocated in groups for learners to discuss and present back on. Or alternatively, you could take a case study in foreign time, 1 day a week, of course, leaving a day free for a Safer Internet Day assembly, or you could, use them for debates too. We also wanted to acknowledge that this age range is a time of personal change. For many young people, perhaps they're learning to drive or they're thinking about university applications. So we've created an activity that explores how turning 18 might or might not change their online experiences, which is a great opportunity to talk about things that legally change online when they reach adulthood, or things they're already aware of and being exposed to that they might need support with now. The activity gives you plenty of scope to draw out the areas most relevant to the young people you work with, whether that's things like dating apps, gambling, cryptocurrency, or pornography. As well as these activities, there's lots of ways children and young people you work with can share their thoughts about the internet, change, and influence. For example, a school tech takeover, something we've seen schools pull off in previous years very successfully. This sees young people given responsibility for your school's social media feeds. Now, they don't need to have direct access for this, but it could just be about them suggesting hashtags or providing quotes and tips that you can then put online and share with your followers and parent and carer community. I also wanted to highlight the 2 assemblies that we have. The first that you can see there on the screen is for 3 to 11s, and it focuses on different aspects of change, including change in technology over time and the smaller day-to-day changes that the children might be seeing on their devices, with messages here around how that makes them feel and what they can do to stay safe when changes happen online. There's also a really lovely poem featured in the assembly too. The 11 to 18s assembly looks at change and influence again, and how things and people online can influence us both positively and negatively. But this assembly finishes with a real call to action, encouraging young people to use their influence online to inspire positive change. In both of the assemblies, we've also included a slide for you to complete ahead of delivering it, with details of a staff member in your setting who young people could reach out to if they have an online safety concern, for example, your safeguarding lead. The assemblies are designed to get young people thinking about the theme and a chance for them to share their ideas and opinions, but parts of it, if not all of it, could definitely be led by young people for their peers. Now, as we do every year, we also have some films you might want to share with your learners. These feature young people from across the country sharing their online experiences, and it can be a great prompt for conversation. These short films for 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s and 14 to 18s explore and inspire discussion around AI, the change children and young people want to see online and how they're influenced by it. The film for 3 to 7-year-olds features a reading of the Zen story Mo and Jazz using keyword signing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Phoebe. So that really concludes our tour of the downloadable resource packs and those resources that are designed for different age ranges. I do hope that's been useful, and do suggest that you go and download them yourself and have a little explore and look through, because there are lots of other activities which we haven't specifically mentioned today. Whilst you're on our website downloading those packs, we also have a section specifically for parents and carers. In previous years, you might have used our downloadable pack for this audience, but this year, as we did last year, we created it all as web-based content, so you can really easily share a link or pick and choose particular segments or pages that might be most relevant to your parent and carer community. There's loads of useful advice in there, including tips to help parents and carers start conversations at home, advice on talking about different topics, plenty of guidance on reporting and other ways to respond if things go wrong, and signposts to specific advice on key online safety issues. Of course, we also have our annual social media template available both here on the website, and you'll find it in those downloadable packs as well. Safer Internet Day 2024 is all about inspiring change, and we would love to know what it is that your young people want to see changing online, or what they would do to make their online experiences more positive. So what we would suggest is you ask learners to fill in the template provided, and then you can take a photo of those decorated templates, either with or without the children and young people, or any adults who want to join in too, who created them. And share these on your school or settings social media accounts. We also know from previous years that lots of people use these templates to create really incredible displays. And as with all of our resources, it's really about adapting them to work for you.
So on the topic of social media, you can also find suggested tweets in the resource packs, and we have a full social media pack including lots of graphics too. We'll be retweeting and engaging with as many of you as possible on Safer Internet Day itself. So use the hashtag Safer Internet Day. Keep an eye on our accounts and subscribe to our newsletters as well to hear about the final few resources still to come ahead of the day. Specifically, we've got 3 incredible interactive quizzes that have been co-produced with children and young people, and top tips for use with all ages and parents and carers.
So we are nearly at the end of our session today. Please do submit any last questions that we haven't answered yet. But before we get to those, we have one important request of all of you in attendance today. Every year, we ask any organisation participating in Safer Internet activities here in the UK to register as a supporter of the day. To register, you need to complete a really short form on the UK Safer Internet Centre website, and in return, your school or your setting will get a fantastic certificate of participation and will appear on our incredible supporters map. Your logo and participation will also be recorded alongside all the other amazing organisations supporting the day. Importantly, these supporter numbers also help us to reach out to funders, which enables us to provide all of the free resources that we've discussed today and maintain that really meaningful impact in young people's online lives, which we talked about earlier. So you can see the link to register as a supporter as an announcement in the Q&A section, hopefully from our fantastic colleague Becca. Please do take time to submit the form if you can and help this year's Safer Internet Day be the biggest yet. Just to let you know that when you submit that form, there might be a short delay before you appear as a supporter on the map, because we have to manually kind of approve all of those people who've registered as supporters before they go live on the website.
Okay, then I think it's time for us to have a look and see if we've got any questions. So we'll do that now.
Yeah, I'm just having a little look, and it seems like we have just had the one question, which was about having access to these slides. We were not specifically planning on sharing the slides, but what we have done is recorded this session, and the recording will be posted on the UK Safer Internet Centre YouTube channel. So anyone who has not been able to attend will be able to access it there. And of course, all of the different kind of visuals and images that you saw in the slides are available in the packs themselves. So probably the best thing to do is to go and download those packs and find the resources there. Fantastic. Yeah, we've just had one final little comment here about from a cyber protect officer for Derbyshire Police, talking about their support on the day, and just making that reminder that there are often members of the police forces that different schools and settings can reach out to. I think it's really fantastic that we can kind of all work together to build connections and to celebrate the day. So yeah, definitely look for opportunities to get involved with other organisations who might be celebrating the day. And in fact, maybe you can use the supporters map to see what else is going on in your area, and see if there's any other local schools or other organisations like police forces who you can join up with and celebrate together. Shall we wrap up our kind of final bits and pieces? We've sped through this and we've not had as many questions as we've had in previous years. So maybe we wrap up and then we can do one final check-in on the questions at the very end, Phoebe?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, feel free, everyone, to keep putting questions. We'll keep looking at those, but we just wanted to say thank you so much for taking some of your time to join us this evening. We really do hope that it's been useful, and we're really excited to see what this year's Safer Internet Day will bring. So we've given you a lot of information in this short session, but if you do just 3 things kind of leaving us today, we would ask that you do check out the website and all of the resources that are available, that you register as a supporter, and you make space for those conversations about life online with the children and young people that you work with on Safer Internet Day, but all year round as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Phoebe. And thank you everyone who has come along today. We know you're all really, really busy, so we've kept it very tight to time. I just wanted to also say a final thank you to our colleague Becca, who's been running tech behind the scenes and responding to some of your questions and popping links in the Q&A section. Becca is just going to share a final link for you. It's to a very short evaluation survey. It shouldn't take more than 30 seconds for you to complete, really. And I'll just remind you that we have also been recording this session. We'll pop it up online for you to share with anybody else who might be interested to get that kind of insight into the resources. I'm just doing one final check of the questions before we call it a day. We've just had another request for the slides. I'm just thinking about the logistics of us sharing the slides far and wide. What I would suggest is, if you specifically would like a copy of the slides, if you send an email over to us, education@childnet.com, then we will be able to share the kind of specific slides with the statistics that you were after. That might be the easiest way, so that we're not just sharing it and get lost. We've got questions flooding in now. Suddenly, I'm just going to pick up these last couple as they pop in. Do your videos have subtitles? Any chance of BSL resources in the future? Now, Phoebe, I might ask you to jump in on this one, but my understanding is that we do have subtitled videos, and I believe some of the videos have BSL translation as well. Becca, Phoebe, I don't know if either of you can offer any clarification on that.
Yep, those education films that we mentioned in this all have BSL available if you go to our website with those links. They are available there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Becca, for jumping in. That was really, really handy. Yeah, really appreciate that question there. And yeah, you can find those on our website. I think that might be it. We seem to have reached the end of our questions. It's bang on past, which is fantastic. If you do have any follow-up questions after this, feel free to drop us an email. I'll mention the email address that I just used earlier, education@childnet.com. You can reach out to us there. And there's also, I believe, an email address that you can contact through the Safer Internet Day website for inquiries about the campaign there as well. Thank you so much for coming along and listening in. We hope it has been helpful, but we will leave it there. That's it from us. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Thank you.